Hello everybody, welcome to this week's episode of The County Seat. I'm your host, Chad Booth. Over the 3.5 years we've produced this show, we have talked to commissioners from the different counties around the state on several occasions about several different topics. We have even tried to cover some of the specific tasks that they are responsible for. But we never have had a chance to collectively look at the job of a county commissioner. 23 of Utah's 29 counties have commissioners, and they have one of the most ambiguous jobs in government because it has both a legislative and an administrative function to it. And most people don't see the big picture. Well, we hope by the end of this show that you will have an idea of that bigger picture as we talk to a panelist of commissioners from around the state. But first, we would like to cover a story about a commission in Utah that is going to great efforts to make their job and their access much more visible to the public.
One of the benefits of county government is being able to access your elected officials, like your county commissioners. But most of the time you're in a county commission meeting and it's a pretty big deal. Well, today we're going to be looking at things a little bit differently.
Look him up. Is he right on Main Street?
Yeah.
So at least once a month we do a different trail. We do try a trail with the commissioner. And so we have, and I'm the walker, Commissioner Whitney's the biker. He does his bikes, and Commissioner Ellertson rides his horses or walks with me.
The Try a Trail with the Utah County Commissioners is a program that takes advantage of the hundreds of miles of paved trails in Utah County and creates an opportunity to bring everyone together. But to say these events aren't your typical county commission meeting is a bit of an understatement.
This is a lot more fun. We do the business of the county in those commission meetings, and this gets us out into the county. It gets us walking with people and talking with them in an informal way. You've listened to us as we've walked along the trail. We'll talk about everything from taxes to fishing. Hey guys, how you doing? And I said, do you know what a commissioner is? And she says, no. And I said, well, do you know what a mayor is? And she said, no. I said, well, do you know what a king is? She says, yes, I know what a king is. I said, well, today I'm king of Utah County, and I am giving you this trail. This is your trail. And from henceforth, it will be known as the Old Spotted Frog Trail. And it belongs to you and all the children. And I said, can we use it? She says, yes, if you'll take care of it.
Well, a commissioner isn't quite a king, but not far from it. A county commission is made up of 3 commissioners here in the state of Utah, and they are like a king in that they wield both legislative and executive powers within the county. While their main role within the county is creating the budgets, they don't have authority over any of the other elected officials within the county government. However, the involvement of a commissioner goes beyond budget meetings to a much broader range of responsibilities.
He takes care of the people of the county.
Commissioner Anderson's granddaughter knows what a commissioner does, but she's a little more in the know than the rest of us.
Most people don't know what a county commissioner is, let alone who they are. A lot of people think county commissioners don't do much. They think county government is kind of an unknown, some people call it the shadow government. They don't know that we have everything from the sheriff's office and the jail to the health department to mental health to public works to roads to all kinds of things.
And that's probably the coolest part about a county commissioner, is that these are the people who are involved right where the rubber meets the road, or the trail in this case. Among the many responsibilities that commissioners are tasked with, perhaps the most important one is bringing the communities together. I'm Rhea Rossi Booth with the County Seat.
Well, stay with us. We'll be right back with more of the County Seat when we talk to 3 of Utah's county commissioners and find out about parts of their job that you never knew about. We'll be right back.
I lived in Phoenix and then down in Orange County in California, and I met a small town girl and she brought me home. Just the smaller community that makes you feel like when you go somewhere you know everybody. You know, the sporting programs, the dance events, all these kinds of things, you run into people you know and that care about you and your family. And that makes it just a wonderful place to have little ones like this.
Isn't it time you found the balance you've been looking for? Uinta County, Utah.
Have you ever wanted to recreate the world around you? Add some excitement, culture, adventure? Well, there's no need to remake the world when that perfect combination already exists. Just remember 4 words. Welcome to Weber County. In Ogden, you'll find everything you're looking for, from the top of Powder Mountain to the restaurants of our revitalized downtown. Ogden, Utah. Mountain to metro and everything in between. Visit Ogden.com.
Cedar City, Utah is home of the Tony Award-winning Utah Shakespeare Festival. But did you know that we also offer a different kind of play?
Escape the gray. Head south for clear skies. Cedar City, Bryan Head.
Welcome back to the county seat. Our topic today is, what does the commissioner do? And we've got three experts on the subject. All three of them happen to be commissioners here in the state of Utah. Stan Summers from Box Elder County. Commissioner, welcome.
Thank you.
Kent Peatross, who is a commissioner from Duchesne County, and Bret Millburn from Davis County.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, thank you very much. You guys have the most mysterious job in all of American society. So let's take the next few minutes and see if we can figure out a little bit of what you do. You know, when we started the program, I got a call from a commissioner, and I won't name him because you all know who this person is. And he said in a comment after we'd been on the air for about 6 months, he said, I had no idea some of the things we were supposed to do. What was the biggest surprise for you guys when you first took office as commissioners?
Well, Chad, I think I had some inkling of what the commissioner did based upon some of my previous professional experience and interaction with government. But to be frank with you, I had no idea how broad a commissioner's responsibilities are. I think county government is one of the least understood aspects of government and the impact that has on our lives, but county government impacts almost everything our citizens do, every aspect of their life, from animal control and libraries to jails to transportation, and the list goes on and on
Birth
and on.
certificates, wedding licenses,
yeah, elections,
roads. It is very, very, very big. Stan, you're the junior colleague here.
I'm relatively new.
Yeah. So what two before hit you on the side of the head in your new job?
I think the plain fact that what we were just talking about before, it's a part-time job, 60 hours a week. I don't think people understand just exactly how much we have on our plates, to the plain fact that we're a part-time commission, and I know these other guys are full-time commissioners, and if they're doing twice as much work than what we're doing, they're doing 120 hours a week, trying to get to everything that they need to be to, whether, like Bret was saying, whether it's roads, whether it's sheriff's department, whether it's jails, whether it's going to a boys and girls club, whether it's delivering Meals on Wheels, helping people, do those types of things. It's a big commitment.
Well, so a lot of people will come from the standpoint of thinking that you just have to pass ordinances and handle commission meetings. But let's talk about the administrative side, because in the commission form of government, it's the unique part that you are both legislative and administrative. What skills do you have to bring to bear to manage your portfolio of departments?
I think that I don't know that there is a specific skill set, because you got to be involved in so many different things. You end up becoming somewhat of an expert in jail administration, for example, and we're kind of forced into that just because that's a huge part of our budget. So being able to be successful at finance management, but then also you turn around the next day, maybe the fire in front of you is a human resource problem. In a small county like Duchesne County, we have to deal with our human resource issues. We do have our human resource department, but it always comes back to us because the rules or the regs or whatever we set within the guidelines of the federal and state laws. County government is a business, and it's a real broad business. There's a lot of things involved.
Extremely broad business. In Davis County, we're looking at a $100 million budget with nearly 1,000 employees. And as you pointed out, it's both the legislative side and the executive side. I would have to say, probably 90% of what we do on a day-to-day basis really fits within that administrative realm. You're running a large corporation of sorts.
What's the learning curve? I mean, for you multiple term guys.
Like this. I feel after 11 years that mine's flattened out a little bit, but for the most part, when you start out, it's pretty straight up and down.
My eyes have quit like circling in my head. But I think I've been really lucky enough to get around people like this and to have good examples to teach us kind of what we've set to do. I've got Bret's number on speed dial, text all the time. You know, there's other commissioners that have taken me underneath their wing that have just decided that this is the thing they do, and I don't think that they mattered if I was from Box Elder County or Washington County. It's we're all in this together. We're all trying to get the best thing we can done for the state, and unfortunately, we're the ones that get yelled at the most because we're more accessible. Everybody thinks we can fix everything from the federal government to anything else in the school districts. So it's kind of hard that way.
So basically where we're at then is that nobody knows what you do, but they expect you to fix all the problems. Is that what I'm hearing here?
Something like that.
Well, and as commissioners, one of our biggest challenges is trying to fix all of those problems, and we, in reality, can't, because sometimes maybe there's a problem in the sheriff's department, for example, and we're still going to hear about it. But that's an elected official, and he's got his own duties and responsibilities. And for us to walk up the street and go in the sheriff's office and say, you know, here's what you will do, doesn't work. We don't have that authority. And that's the same with all the elected officials in the county. I believe that I have probably been chewed on by someone who's had a bad experience at some time or another in nearly every office in the county. And they come in there expecting me to solve that problem, and I can't do that. So it's a frustrating situation, but you know, within reason, we meet with those officials and we talk about issues and so forth and try to resolve them.
Yeah, the day-to-day management of those other offices is left to that elected official, and as commissioners, the only real impact that we have there is once a year when we do budgets. And you know, that's really our connection, is ultimately the budget element, but the day-to-day management of those different elected offices, that's not within our realm.
So in that process, do the other elected officials present proposed budgets to you, and then you kind of divvy it up with what the auditor comes forward and says you're going to have in revenue for the year? And
well, I think each county may do that process a little bit differently. When I first came into office, it was such that each department with the respective commissioner that was assigned to that department would sit down with the clerk auditor and go through that presentation. In Davis County, we've opened that up. It's totally transparent, and to accommodate the open meetings laws, we publicly notice those meetings. All three commissioners can gather together. We hear the presentation, and it's not such that the clerk auditor does his budget and then presents it to the commission, then we go redo it. We all do it together, and it works out quite well.
How tough is it to keep track of all of those duties, Kent?
Just, and that's what I say, the thing that is always a little bit frustration, you may show up to the office with a list of things you want to do one day, but then you're going to deal with whatever the fire is of the day. And it's real frustrating to try to keep up with all of the duties, because you never know what's going to come through the door and what's going to distract you to where it may be a couple of days before you get back to what your agenda was for that day. And it's unfortunate, because quite often you're not able to respond to the public, to a constituent as quickly as I would like to, because all of a sudden something else is a priority.
Another fire, literally, since we're over the fire departments too. So.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting portfolio. Well, listen, we're going to take a break here from the county seat, talking to three county commissioners about the challenges of their job and defining a little bit what that job entails. We'll get into the issues of how thick a skin it takes to put up with all of the citizen responses and some of the other things in just a minute after this break.
How would you spend an extra day in Utah Valley? Stay one more day. Visit utahvalley.com to make reservations. Utah Valley, Bring everyone together.
I didn't order this.
Compliments of the lady in gold.
Hello, trouble.
Anything worth doing in this quiet little town?
You look like the kind of man that could show a girl a good time.
You strike me as the kind of girl that likes a manicure and a massage.
How's that for a manicure?
I hate golf.
I was hoping for something a little more vigorous.
Vigorous, I can do.
And I thought you'd be riding side saddle.
What? I'm gonna regret this. How about that manicure? Almost 45% of the oil produced in Utah, 7.8 million barrels, comes from Duchesne County. That oil feeds our state economy, provides job growth, and supports local business. Here in Duchesne County, we're working to make Utah an economic, cultural, and technological leader. Whether you're here for business or pleasure, Duchesne County will welcome you with open arms and invite you to explore all the beauty of the Uinta Mountains. Duchesne County, close enough for business, far enough to get away.
Welcome back to the county seat. We're having a conversation with three of our county commissioners from different parts of the state, different sized counties, some with small budgets that are rural, some with basically metropolitan counties, and some that are kind of in between with a lot of oil revenue. So we want to pick up our conversation where we left off. The counties end up being in a little bit different relationship to state government than state is to federal, and people often get that confused, knowing that the federal government is not sovereign to the state is a sovereign entity, but counties are a subset of state government, and that obviously has some changes to your relationship.
You're absolutely right. We have a very close relationship or tie to the state. We really are not allowed to do anything sovereign unless the state by state law provides that opportunity. Sometimes it's an opportunity that we are okay with, and sometimes we have some concerns with those opportunities or mandates that may come down, and find ourselves either playing offense or defense up on the Hill quite a bit.
Does it take a lot of effort from the county? I mean, this is almost the coalescing factor between the commissioners, isn't it, to get through this session?
Mm-hmm. It is, and what I find quite gratifying is, as we work through that process, is that even the metropolitan counties and the rural counties, we have so many issues that are the same. There are different things, but through our Association of Utah Association of Counties, UAC, we have a real close kinship, if you will, and a relationship there that helps move our agenda forward. And it's nearly all of the time, in my opinion, when the counties are at a consensus, which gives us a lot of clout, really, to work with state government and even federal to some degree.
State legislators are always in the session complaining about unfunded federal mandates, and yet quite often they'll place an obligation on the counties, and then they'll just expect you to, through your own county budgets on property tax, find a way to fund it. How big a problem does this become enlightening the legislators?
I've got them on speed dial also. So between Rhonda Menlove and Lee Perry, they heard from us quite a bit this last session on a few things that were happening with tax assessment, local and state tax assessment that we've had a real problem with, in not even in Box Elder County, but a few other places. And they were always wondering, because we're right on the ground, what the constituents were thinking. So they wanted to know what the county commissioners thought of the things that were going up on the Hill, because they know that we're more in touch with them, with our constituents, than they are. So they would call us often, and when it came to whatever it was, we had the answers, and they would take it from there. I'm sure it is with these guys' county also.
Mm-hmm. And that can happen on a variety of different issues, everything from contracting and condition of probation inmates in our county jails to food handler permit issues through our health department, Meals on Wheels, mental health and substance abuse responsibilities. There's a kind of connection all over the place.
Just across the board.
Across the board.
So when a legislative session comes, I mean, I've been up there doing this job sometimes as early as 7 o'clock in the morning, and I think I've seen all three of you up there at that time. Do your days get a lot longer during the session?
I don't know if mine necessarily get longer. It's just a different focus for about 45 days.
I grew up milking cows, so I think the rest of us, it's just like from sun up to sundown, really. I mean, if you're going to get it all done, whether or not these guys have jobs, you know, like we do, we're only part-time commissioners, so I've got 3 other jobs that I'm still doing and still trying to be a commissioner.
I think for me the difference is I'm home less because I have far enough travel that I usually end up staying over. And so that's, if you count the nights too, then yeah, it gets a lot longer.
Do you ever come home and your wife says, "Who are you?"
Yeah, it feels that way, yeah.
All right, well, listen, we are going to take a break. We still have an area that we haven't talked about, and that is the obligations that commissioners have beyond just their county. And we'll take that topic up when we return on the county seat. Stay with us. We'll be back in a minute.
Landscapes as diverse as the people who venture to find them await. All you have to do is find a place to begin. Moab, Utah, in Grand County, where adventure begins.
Making sure your food is safe, it starts on the farm and continues every step of the way, all the way to your local grocery store. So when you bring home food for your family, you do so with the peace of mind that it's safe, fresh, and nutritious. Utah Department of Agriculture and Food, the guardians of Utah's food supply and sustainable agriculture. Visit ag.utah.gov for more information.
Kanab, base camp for your southern Utah adventures. You belong in Kanab.
Welcome back to the county seat. Our topic today has been the job and duties of the nebulous task of being a county commissioner. So far, we've been pretty clear on what we've been able to cover. There's one area I'd like to come back to, though, gentlemen, and that is, as I have dealt with the county commissioners for the last 4 years, I am always finding out that there's a commissioner on his way to a UTA board meeting, a regional meeting, a BLM task force, sage grouse. I mean, there's always something. Let's talk about the obligations you have that are directly beyond the county and how you get involved in them. What are some of the things that you guys have to tackle?
You're absolutely right. You know, some of those things that you mentioned, they might not have a day-to-day impact or direct tie to some department within the county, but in a broader sense, they are related to the county, whether it's, say, transportation related. I have the opportunity to serve as chair for Wasatch Front Regional Council, which is the metropolitan planning organization along the Wasatch Front. That has a direct impact on every citizen. And through that, also UTA, Utah Transit Authority. I've even, in the transportation arena, am involved on the national level through NACO, National Association of Counties, and their Transportation Steering Committee, and sit on the board for the National Association of Regional Councils, which is transportation planning. So, yeah, the ripples go far and wide.
Kent, what are some of your obligations?
Well, I've been sitting here trying to count them, and I can't come up with them all.
You're going to run out of time.
I serve on the State Joint Highway Committee, Permanent Community Impact Board, which is probably one of my biggest assignments because that affects the entire state. That board passes out mineral easement funds to every rural community literally in the state of Utah through grants or low interest loans. And I just recently received an assignment from the governor to participate on his Envision Utah Task Force. And I'm on one of the committees there, and I'll be back in Salt Lake City tomorrow to attend that meeting. And I serve on a NACO board with the national organization as well that deals with energy and public land use. And so that's a few of them. But
is county input in these issues vitally important?
Occasionally, it feels to me like we're playing more defense than we are offense, really, because you have every viewpoint there is out there on NACO, for example, in the room. And so if we don't express our state's attitudes or points of view on issues, for example, a recent meeting in Washington, D.C., one of the resolutions passed was about coal production. Well, all of the East Coast wants to shut that down totally, and some of the West Coast. And so it was quite a debate over trying to maintain our viability of coal production in the state. So those are the types of issues that I think we owe it to not only our county but the state to be involved in.
I'm going to call you back on that one. Stan, anything for you?
I'm just kind of like a new kid on the block, but it seems like every time I turn around I get to be put on a board because I usually can't keep my mouth shut about things. So, but Bear River Association of Governments, mosquito abatement, over the fair, I mean, just on and on and on. There's just one more thing that we have to do.
Is there a payoff for doing all this? Because right now your job description doesn't sound like I want to run anytime soon.
I think it is. I've got 3 years left, and I would imagine that they'll say the same thing, that as long as we can see what's going on and we're making a difference, that's what we're here for.
I believe it is too. I've been in 11 years now. I'm running for my 4th term, and I'm fairly confident if I'm successful this time, this will be my last go-round. But I feel I'm very proud of my record in history in county government, and we've accomplished a lot of things, and it is rewarding. There are days when you go home wondering why am I doing this, but for the most part, very rewarding.
Last word to you.
Hardest thing I've ever done, but also the most rewarding thing I've ever done. To see the impact that you have in people's lives across the spectrum, absolutely rewarding. And to know that you're being a good steward of the taxpayer dollar. I'm a taxpayer also, and I'm, like Commissioner stated, I'm proud of the record and the service that I've provided, and grateful for the opportunity.
Well, we're grateful for the opportunity to have you here to talk about this. Thank you very much. We hope this has helped you a little bit in understanding the very complex job of being a commissioner. I encourage you to go to our website, go to the Utah Association of Counties website, and read a little bit more about what the commissioners do and the council members across the state, because their jobs are very important to your lives. We'd like to thank you for inviting us into your living room, and we would like to invite you that if you can't catch the program, record it, and that way you'll never miss an episode of The County Seat. Please go to our website, thecountyseat.tv. We'd love to hear your comments on Facebook and Twitter. Until next week, remember that local government is where your life happens. Be part of the solution. Thank you for joining us. If you like this video, then we invite you to subscribe to our channel, The County Seat. You can do that here. And we invite you to share with your friends. We also invite you to get all the latest up-to-date information by following us on our social media channels. And if all else fails, make sure that you watch The County Seat Sunday morning at 8:30 right here on ABC4 Utah.